So one of the reasons why we are trapped in time is because we broke time every time that the CERN in Geneva is on. You know the CERN?
Yeah.
The CERN is the particle collider. It was created after the Second World War, when all the intelligent people moved from Germany to the States, and they started to create all the science there. So the French, the Italians, the Swiss, and the Germans, they started to say, we need to create a new place for science in Europe because it was all wiped out. We need to recreate something new in Europe. So they created the European Center of Nuclear Research. Yeah, the CERN. So they created that, which is to study what happened in the moment of creation. What happened with the particles in that moment. So they created a circle in between Switzerland and France, in Geneva, to make particles spin at the speed of light. So they collide to one another and break. And by that they create void, and they create, they can study what happens inside the particles. What happened in the very beginning of the creation of the particles. And that's, so because of that, they discovered something that is called Higgs boson. I don't know if you have heard about it. Higgs boson is like the particle that allows the particles to have mass. So it's what gives shape to things. And actually something that basically is not moving, is something that is all around and holds reality. So also contains time. So it's kind of something that they are studying, if that's a particle related to time. Because everything exists because of that. Because time is just a perception of space. So if this is the creation of space, can be also the key to understand time. So when the CERN started to do the experiments, the first years they didn't find out boson Higgs. They found it out like 2014, I think. But in every experiment, they were breaking the net of boson Higgs. And when you break the net of Higgs, it kind of creates a wave in something that shouldn't have a wave. And that creates ripples in space and time that goes back in time or far in the future. So from different realities in our past lives and everything, it's not that we are in past lives, but our past selves have been receiving the echoes of something that is changing. So we broke time. And that keeps us trapped in a constant circle. Because every ripple repeats something from the future to the past, and from the past to the future. Constantly.
It was when the planetary network was alive.
It was part of what happened, yeah. They broke the net, and that's how Atlantis ended. Because a French guy and an Italian guy collided a particle. Yes. That was too much to hold. And so I went to Geneva, of course, for that. So I went to Geneva, and I sat down there, and I started to meditate about what was happening in Geneva. And they said, what is because I was wondering, why am I remembering all this, or why everything is coming to me, or why I remember that 12,000 years ago, and we are trying to repair something. So why I'm brought to Geneva to do this? And the divine said, what is the happiest memory that you have from all the things that you can remember? And I was like, I kind of know. And they said, well, I don't know if you have seen these interviews, but there are some interviews when they ask me, what is the happiest memory that you remember from all your past lives? And I usually say, when I was an electron inside a cable. That was my happiest memory. And then something happened, and I felt the void. And when I felt the void, I started to try to put the pieces together. So I concentrated in putting the pieces together. So that's why I remember. So that echo all the time. And I said, so the divine said, so now you know where that happened. And then I realized that that is the name that I felt when I exploded. Like, Gun. My name, Gun, in the spiritual realm is Gun. And the divine said, where are you? Tell it to me in Swiss German. Geneva is Gampf. In Swiss German, Gampf. So it's like, it's my name. And it said, you were in the quantum realm, but part of that quantum realm was broken in that moment in an experiment that they were trying to see what happened 3 seconds after the Big Bang. And that was at the end of 1986. So, when I was conceived. And I suddenly remember, like, my first memory was inside the collider. My first memory was inside the collider. And I remember that. It was like the beauty of going around the proton. And suddenly I felt the broken particle. And they said, remember. And I said, so why all this? So it showed me that's why, for me, the system, the heart, is in Switzerland. Repair the system of the heart. It's broken there. So tick tock, all the clocks in Geneva. Repair the time. So that's why all the watches, everything is tack, like trying to repair the system all the time. Repair the clock. And I don't usually tell this, but my only heritage in this life, when I was 12 years old, weeks before I started to remember, was a Swiss clock. My grandfather received from a neighbor that gave it to him. He was a German Nazi, in Argentina, of course. And he gave that clock, wall clock, and it was broken, and we could never repair it. And that is my only great heritage in my life. And actually, when the sister of my grandfather was dying, she told me, this is the only thing that I have to give you. This is my great heritage to you, is a broken clock. And I was like, no way. To get it fixed, that's part of the how to open the system. And it's all related with Birtawil, with this place in the south of Egypt. So I'm still opening gates to go deeper and deeper into that, because now I'm saying like just 5 minutes of everything that happened in this time. But it's also related to the task that we are trying to do, repair time. repair the system, the clock that was broken, and it's related to that moment. And so every particle that was broken in that time flew very fast at the speed of light in different parts of the planet, and not only in this time, but in different times, because they broke the Higgs field, which is the net. A lot of people in the past started to be disconnected from time. So they, 12,000 years ago, we all started to feel like something was happening. And there was this alien, a Syrian person that from Sirius, that came and said to us here in Giza, said to us, there's no way you can repair this now. You will have to wait until you are born in the mirror of time. So it's like, okay, 12,000 years after will be the moment that happened. So to repair it. But the whole thing was about repair time, fix time. And you can only fix it now going outside the clock, which is the gravity of the Earth, from the moon, going to Mars, repair it, and then go back. So someone conscious needs to do it. And mainly feminine. So the amazing thing was that NASA is planning for Artemis be a crew that is half women, half. So the first women and the first person going down in the new reality would be a woman. To picture it, imagine that this here is a Higgs field, let's say, for example. So every particle is contained in one of these crosses. Remember yesterday I said we are like crucified in a field inside Metatron's cube. So basically this Metatron's cube is like this. Like, this is an easier way to do it, but actually, when you walk outside in the garden, you see the pattern of the floor. That's the actual grid of Metatron. Okay, so it's all the hexagons that are divided in octahedrons. So every joint here is a particle. So they are all contained, and to make it more human, let's say, let's think that this is space and this is time. Yeah? Kind of. So all these particles are constantly in each space and time. They're all one, but many of them are expressed in different times and spaces. So all this net here is what they call the net of Higgs. Higgs is the guy that discovered that there is something that is holding and enabling that there are particles. So matter. So what happened? If by the speed of light another particle hits this one, this one breaks into new particles. That makes that this creates a wave. Okay? So it means that suddenly this point here will be here, this point here, here, this point here, here, this point here, here, this point here, here. So they will all move from their original position. Like a wave. Like this. So it means that if this one is in the present, the ripple of this will also arrive maybe 12,000 years ago. Okay? Which means that some particles in the past will also do like this. Okay? But this wave of particles might change certain things inside of us. Like, for example, making people ill. Maybe they were in balance with nature, and suddenly something happened, and we were out of tune. So someone went out of tune, so they started to get ill. And that's one of the things that happened that I remember when I was 13 years old, that people from the south of England was calling us here in the Nile because kids were getting cancer. And that was something new. Like, what is happening? Why the kids are getting ill? And one of our people said, it's like they are giving us a message to change something that is wrong. And it was the same moment that the crop circles started to appear. And they were all like circles. So how the light moves in circles. So all the messages from other realms started to say, this particle is broken, fix this one, fix that. And a lot of people started to try to fix time and space by creating stone circles, the same way as the CERN. So 12,000 years ago, people started to create stone circles to try to repair something that another circle did in the future. Fixing time and space, trying to balance. Okay, where's the solstice? Try to balance. Where's the north? Try to balance it, because we are losing it. We cannot connect it anymore from our brains. Now we need tools to do it, to fix it again. So we start to put stones to bring the gravity to a certain place to fix it. And if you see in Europe, there are many lines of stones that are aligned with stars, but also they are going to the center of Europe. So following the ripples of particles. And that happened also in Russia when the first time that was done. Like, it's been many ripples every time that you break a particle. Something started to change, and people started to get crazy, and we don't know why exactly. So that created conflicts in between the nations, that we were all one. And that created the first conflicts of Atlantis. So it was like, okay, it's a natural process. It's a natural process that changes, but before, the changes were like smooth. Like they said, okay, now it's your turn, now it's your turn. But something happened in a moment. And when this alien came and said, look into the future, you need to face the mirror of time, it didn't actually make sense why now, why in this moment, and not in the Middle Ages, for example. Like they were saying, this time. And this is the time that, if you see the history of humanity, we started to connect the net because of that. Actually, the first internet that has been connected in the world was in Geneva, in the CERN. The CERN created internet to send papers of science in different offices because that was faster. So someone in Switzerland and France created that, and then they started to share things with scientists in other countries. And that's what in the 80s created internet. So it also came from that. So everything, the net, the connection, the free information everywhere, it all came from that. So all the information, the same net that we are trying to work with from the past was like created again there. So that's why Switzerland becomes always the center of this neutral place, like the void of the heart, something like that. The only thing that I knew is remember, put the members together. It has more sense now saying the particles were broken and we need to fix them, to go back to the same atom because it was like broken. So all the memories, all the different parts of the reality has been spread. And when they were supposed to be located exactly where they were supposed to be, and now they are moved to a different direction. When we open stargates, it's the same energy. The thing is that stargates are basically this. Instead of creating a ripple like this, a stargate, what does is to bend everything towards one. So it does this, like this. So the whole net bends itself to the center of one point. And when that happens, you can, if you are here and you want to go here, you start to bring all the tension to this one, and this one immediately becomes this one. Because it's like doing this. So that's what we call the Einstein-Rosen bridge, which is a black hole, to go to a wormhole that creates an opening to the other side. But the good thing about this is that it uses the quantum reality of when this one goes deeper inside, immediately opens itself in another part of the net. So actually you're not moving them, you're just going through them. But when you break them, it's like throwing a rock against the floor and making a disaster because some pieces might hit people around. So it's chaotic. And changes the reality. Yeah, creates other ripples. Like it's like putting a stone on the water, so it creates like this movement, or throwing a stone to the water. Okay, so that's the difference on how a bridge through time works, or how you break time. And they said that that one of the main reasons why we break time constantly in the quantum realm is every time that we want to become free from this reality, and we say, I want to be free, I want to escape this reality, I want to be free. Every time that we talk about freedom without knowing what freedom means, breaks time in our conscious level or subconscious level. And the reason is because we perceive through our way of thinking that freedom is to break the chains. So when you break the chains, boom, that happens. But when you become the freedom, this happens. So you can be anything and anywhere. when you become the freedom, not when you want the freedom. When you want the freedom, you create a ripple. When you want the freedom and you break the chains of where you are in order to set yourself free, you do that. That's why they say it's a sin to commit suicide. Basically, because when you commit suicide, what you do is to create a ripple like this in your own soul. So that's why you start to repeat things in the past, in the future, in the present, and you get trapped in time. Because you are like cutting something because you want to set yourself free from where you are. So there's a natural process to do this. In the center of the galaxy, it's normal that particles collide and destroy themselves because they go faster than the speed of light when they are close to a black hole. What happens close to a black hole? This stops making sense. It's so fast that there's no way for a particle to exist, not even for a wave to actually express itself, because it's so fast that everything breaks constantly, even the Higgs network, even the time. So that's why in a black hole there's no time, there's no way to study it. It's very difficult because everything breaks. But it's contained in a center of gravity. And when this happens unconsciously, not being contained, and just because we are trying to figure out something, that creates like weird ripples in the planet, because this usually happens in a core of a sun or of a star, or in the center of the galaxy, not in a tiny rock like ours. So that's why the timelines started to open everywhere and create, and it made that in the past 60, 70 years, humanity have evolved and faster than in any other moment in history. Because suddenly all the ripples started to download information of things that weren't supposed to be here in this time. One of the main conflicts that would be solved is this idea of putting God outside. And that was another moment of the ceremony when Shiva appeared. That I have never felt that before. And Shiva introduced himself as the center of an atom. And it said, I am the destroyer of worlds. If you put me in the center, I will be light. If you break me, I will become the fire that consumes you. And the voice of Shiva said, and I am ready to consume you, unless you say the right word to get me in the center.